one of the reasons I think this blue line looks so good might very well be the goaltending has been pretty good of late.
That helps.
And so there's a lot of question marks. So I'll give you the last 10 days. By the way, they played 16 games in 10 days. We haven't even mentioned Colin White returning. 16 games in 10 days. They have given up 36 shots against, which is the most in the National Hockey League. But they have a .936 save percentage and a .230 goals against average. That's a team stat. Like Anton Forsberg is a UFA, Meth. He has 11 of the team's 19 wins this season. I understand Philip Gustafsson's on a one-way deal next year. Are you willing to give up on Anton Forsberg because you have Gustavsson on a one-way deal?
Yeah. And this might be a little bit of recency bias too, right? Like, and I'm always reluctant to go there because a player might be playing very well and all of a sudden we're jumping through hoops to defend him.
Right.
But I mean, for a backup, so he's not a starter. He's a backup goaltender, but he's a good backup play. Like his numbers back it up, right? Like if you're looking at his numbers this season, despite some soft goals in the little, I don't know, what was it, a month or two ago where he had a couple stretch of games there, or a small stretch of games that he didn't look very good. He was a little shaky.
But I don't think he was great Tuesday night against Minnesota. I don't think he was outstanding.
I know, but he doesn't need to be, right? Like, just if he plays big, I'm agreeing with you, by the way. If he plays big and he's able to give you an opportunity to win a game, especially as a backup, he's done his job.
You just want wins.
It's not his job to be your starter, right? He's not getting paid starter money. That's Matt Murray, who's making $5 million or whatever it is. So would I sign him? Yes, but it depends what he's asking for. Like, I don't know what his camp's looking for right now. He's older. Like, what is he? Is he 30 yet? I don't know how old he is.
Just like he only makes $900K and he was a waiver pickup at one point. He's not going to ask for a lot of money.
He might be looking for $2 million. He might be with his numbers. His agent will have this sheet, right? The spreadsheet and be like, look.
Yeah. Is $2 million a lot for your backup goaltender?
I don't think so. But it might be for the Ottawa Senators right now.
The issue is Gustavsson.
Right?
Do you think Philip Gustavsson is going to be a backup goaltender?
Okay, so Craig is so good. He's just confirmed that he's 29 years old. So shout out to Craig. So at that age, which is really important to know this. I mean, at that age, you got to think that if you're Ottawa, you'd be reluctant to give him too much term, right?
Sure, absolutely.
And if you're Forsberg, you certainly want a little bit of job security. You're looking for term. So it depends what he's asking for. But if the ask is, maybe a 2-year deal at 1.5, I mean, I'm not the one paying him, but to me, that seems reasonable for a good backup, competent backup goaltender. But then you're right. What happens to Gustavsson? The goalie stuff, man, I never understand it because, are you willing to have a guy like Gus play in the American League and then maybe you lose him on waivers? Maybe you don't. Maybe he's your number one and, making $1 million or $900,000 in Belleville. I don't know.
Okay, but
I don't know the answer.
By the way, there's a quote from Pierre Dorian in Pierre LeBrun's Athletic article last week. Quote, Anton has been very good for us when he's been in the net, and we'll just see if anything comes in the next few months with him. So it looks like obviously they're going to entertain offers, but here's what I would do. I would go into camp next year with both of those guys signed, as in Forsberg and Gustavsson, see which one starts to play better and risk losing the other guy. You already picked up Forsberg off waivers to begin with. You're willing to risk losing him because he wasn't part of your plan 2 years ago. He was a stopgap. I think that do you think Philip Gustavsson is the future number one in Ottawa? That's the question. And I'm not sure he is.
No, I don't. I honestly don't. And I mean, with the way the only issue with Matt Murray is the health thing. Now, granted, he's just had a baby, so I'm not going to go there. We all know how difficult that is. But the injuries, the prior injuries, is always going to be a concern. Is him being healthy, especially if he's your number one guy, and that matters because if you view him as your number one guy, then there's your answer. And then maybe you just sign Forsberg and you have the option going into camp next year. But that's the easy thing to say, right? We don't know the internal budgets of the team and what they're willing to move on. So when it comes to the goalie stuff, Wally, I'm not going to pretend like I know what I'm talking about. All I know is that I like Forsberg's play, and I'd be scared to lose him because we all know goalies develop much later than players do.
Yes.
And he's right at that age where goalies start to figure it out a little bit. Usually it's around 28, I want to say, but he's right. He's hovering there at 29. He might be a big loss if you move him, and then all of a sudden you're stuck with Gustavsson, who might struggle mightily next season. We don't know.
It'll be interesting to watch it play out. I get not fears, but there are issues. Like you look at, they signed Mike Condon, they signed Andrew Hammond to these big backup deals.
I know.
Both of them end up with injuries. It didn't pan out very well, right? And so we should
get Zach Burke, on the show and talk to him, see what he thinks.
I'll let you know when they agree to that.